On the lookout for Congressman Anthony Weiner as we wait for a decision on his political future. Friends say that the New York Democrat was waiting for his pregnant wife to get back from overseas before deciding what to do. That happened late last night. That's the video of Huma Abedin as she arrived back at their home. She'd been traveling with Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, which is her job, back from that official trip. So we're joined now by the Power Panel. Brooke Goldstein, director of the Lawfare Project. Anna Siga-Nicolazzi is a prosecutor in New York. I hope I said that right, Anna. And Karen Nussel, Republican strategist and political communications consultant. Welcome, ladies, to all of you. I'd like, first of all, for the three of you to watch this focus group talking about this Anthony Weiner situation, and then we'll get your thoughts on that as our jumping off point. Let's take a look.
It's not all about a person's private life. He has fought so hard for those 9/11 responders to get it into the bill for them to get adequate health care.
But what about
his private life is no longer private. It's public now. He's a public servant.
It should be nobody's business. Who really cares? We're all adults. They were consenting adults.
I don't care about him. I don't care about his private life, but he lied, and that's integrity. And how can you ever believe him again?
All right. You know what? Those people sized up a lot of this argument. We'd like to talk a little bit about his wife, whose privacy we respect. But as women, we all are sympathetic to what she must be going through. And no doubt the debate that you saw between those two women has happened in her own understanding of this whole thing. Karen, you've been married to a U.S. congressman. So what goes through your mind as you look at her situation now?
Well, you know, it's difficult being married to a public figure, even when times are good. But when times are bad, it really upends the whole family. And that's what she's going through. I think she's going to work to protect her family first and his career second.
Do you think that she should encourage him to stay?
I think
keep his job.
She needs to encourage him to do what's best for them as a family.
Yeah.
And I think the statement to integrity that we heard in the focus group is a pretty powerful one.
Yeah. You know, what about that, Anna? You know, in terms of whether or not she encourages him to stay, it appears that he wants to stay as long as he possibly can and let the voters of New York decide what they think about this. And he's done pretty well in those New York polls. They're just married. They're newlyweds.
Well,
tough, very tough situation.
That's the thing. I mean, she is the unfortunate casualty of all this personally. Publicly, professionally, she is getting it all over the place. I mean, she should be, as you said, she's a newlywed. She should be enjoying that honeymoon phase,
expecting
new
a baby.
pregnancy, and instead she's dealing with her husband's, disgusting conduct. And she's forced to deal with it in the public eye as well, not only because of who he is, but she's a very successful woman in her own right. And her work as aide to Hillary Clinton makes her a public persona as well. And so what now she has to deal with was all is at the same time. As far as whether he should stay or should go, I think he should go for many reasons, but also for her. I mean, every minute that he stays, he is bringing that scrutiny on him, on her, on them. It is just getting deeper and longer.
You know what, though?
I
hear what that woman was saying in the focus group. He's put in there to do a job. A lot of people in New York feel that he's done it fairly well, or very well in some cases. And it's hard to imagine a woman who's in a better position, and I mean this in a good way, to talk to her than Hillary Clinton. Who has to be a tremendous mentor and sounding board for her in this whole situation. It's uncanny that she should be working for this woman at this point.
I'm sure they've been talking. I mean, they're very close. They work together. And it's obviously a very sad state of affairs. It's always disheartening to see what is essentially a private issue made public. And given the fact that these two people are in the public eye, I don't think it's going anywhere. But the picture of him when he was 18 years old that just surfaced, it's entirely irrelevant to the issue. This is just an instance of the press digging anything up that's going to hurt him. And now he's being investigated for what? Taking a picture while he was at the gym? I don't think that in and of itself amounts to an improper use.
It wasn't just any picture, let's face it. But, it'll be very interesting to see what she decides, what her influence is on her husband, and whether or not they decide to hang in there with all of this. Let's talk about another woman who really emerged in kind of a new way in politics over the course of this week. We've interviewed Michelle Bachmann many times here. She gets a lot of grief from a lot of networks out there and a lot of people who've watched her. They've sort of seized on a couple of mistakes that she made, one historical inaccuracy. But a lot of people got to see her, I think, who haven't really seen her in action in this debate that was aired the other night. What do you think about Michelle Bachmann in terms of how she's rising on the scene right now, Karen?
Well, I think she showed that she can hang with the boys.
Yeah.
And I think everyone was assuming she would make some big gaffe, and she didn't. She knew her issues, she knew her stuff, and she showed that she could be on that stage and compete in that arena.
Anna, did anything change in your mind about her this week?
Well, I think she showed herself to be much more polished and able to talk on the issues in a way that people have never seen her do before. You know, her detractors have said she's nothing more than a mouthpiece for the fringe, but she made it clear that's not it. She's like, I'm here and I'm here to stay. She was well versed on the issues. She was able to hold her own. I mean, she came out right after Romney when you look at the polls. And so although she may not ultimately be electable.
Does it bother you that the immediate reaction is like, oh, well, wouldn't she make a nice little vice presidential candidate? You know, and you look at her experience and you measure it against even Mitt Romney. They have comparable, you know, government experience. It's striking to me that that's always the first go-to position when a woman is considered.
And the immediate reaction is always, oh, she did so well.
Yeah, what a surprise.
Was, you know, assuming a beautiful Republican candidate is going to be stupid or is going to make a gaffe, like you said. She was clear. She was concise. She had her talking points. You know, the only issue now is how is she going to ride this wave of positivity with fundraising, with national media. I had the opportunity to meet her in person. She was a lovely woman. I'm rooting for her, and I can't wait to see what happens.
Fascinating. All right, ladies, thank you so much. Good to get your take on all this. Very interesting week for women in the news. Thank you very much.